we got a call. He basically said that we had got it. Like, I couldn't believe it. It is for the next 5 years. No past really performance in that area. This was the first bid that we ever submitted, the first proposal we ever submitted.
Amazing GovCon winners. I have a special guest for you. We have Kelsey with Hayes Pristine In-Home Care. But get this, the contract that she won that she's going to talk to us about has nothing to do with medical anything. Kelsey, welcome to the channel.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Oh my goodness.
I'm so happy. No, it's an honor to have you. I'm so excited. So talk to us. Your background is in-home care, the healthcare arena. And the viewers will find out, you won a statewide contract for paper products and break room essentials. How did that happen?
So, I was on the state website and there was more than one contract that I was interested in. I was really going for a janitorial, and so these two ended on the exact same day. And so I really focused mainly on the janitorial. I really was wanting that. So I spent all my time just going through and, trying to find helpers because it really entails a lot. I mean, they want floors, scrubbed with machine and everything. And I was like, well, we can't quite do all that. So I was looking for, a helper here. And I read the last page of the bid document wrong. And so I'm writing my proposal and everything, and I can't even remember what it was, but something that I just couldn't do. And it was the last day to submit it. And so I was like, oh man, okay, well, I'm out of this. And I had spent all my time on that. And so I was just like, oh man, I got kind of discouraged because, I'm like, well, now I spent all my time on that one. This paper products one I didn't really, get into. And so that the next morning it was due on a Friday. They were both due Friday at 2 p.m. And so that next Monday, I had got an amendment email from this paper products, and it was addressed specifically to our business and hey, we're amending this to give it another week. And so I'm like, okay, this is my sign. I spent all my time on the janitorial and, I wanted to do this one as well. And so I read through it and I'm like, I can do this. I've got a whole week. I'd already had our business website up for years, and it was just an addition to the website for the products that they wanted. And so I just went through all the documents and I'm just like, I can do this. And so me and my team worked really hard until that due date, that Friday. We submitted it and I received, confirmation that they had got it. And that next Monday, 9 a.m. in the morning, we got a call wanting a little clarification on one of the pages that was submitted. And he basically said that we had got it. And I was so ecstatic. I couldn't believe it. No past really performance in that area. Coming from another position prior to this business, I was in charge of stocking the inventory there. So I kind of used that as past performance. And with my teammate as well, she had basically done the same thing. And so we really weren't sure if that was going to be enough past performance for them, but they accepted it almost instantly.
This is amazing because right now, you're in-home healthcare and you're like, hey, I'm going to bid on these state opportunities. You didn't let the fact that the janitorial one didn't work out prevent you from bidding. You then bid. And what was so great is you use your experience, because that's the thing they just want some kind of experience. So you use that experience to win this. And because I know everyone wants to know this, where do you get the paper products? How did you know? You don't have to go into pricing and that's often why I don't talk about it on this channel. Sometimes I don't, because it's personal. Amazon isn't going to share with the world their margins. So, but where did you even know where to go for these products, what to price these products? Because could you give us an example of these products? I'm so curious. Were you paper plate, cup, toilet paper? What are these products?
Yes, yeah. So paper towels, toilet paper, which, is a necessity for everybody. And then, break room essentials, plates, bowls, paper cups, napkins. And that's really, that's about it. However, it kind of opened our eyes the other day. We went to the Kansas Reverse Vendor Fair that they were hosting. We had got email invited by being a bidder on their registration list. And it was for, the public purchasing professionals of Kansas. And so we went there and we met one of the Topeka procurement officers, and he was like, okay, what all do you have for us? And then he said, okay, so what else can we buy? And I was like, well, got all types of office stuff and medical equipment as well. But back to where we found the products. We actually, we sat one day specifically to that, and we pulled up like 4 different companies, manufacturers, and we called all of them, asked for those specific items, got their quote on what they would do and how much quantity, and we cross-referenced all 4 of those and kind of went with the lowest person all the way around.
Were any of them reluctant? Are they like, oh, we don't want to give you this price?
Not really. So I watched a lot of the videos, and the Facebook group helped a lot with this. I didn't let them know that I was a government contractor. I just let them know, for our office, or our client, what we get. And so I think that kind of helped a lot. They weren't reluctant at all, because I've heard that they can be.
Yeah, I love this. I'm just so excited. I love that tip. I think it's such a great tip, because it's like, oh, I'm selling to, a consumer. It like lowers it. Because it's like, unless there's something in place where they have to have a resale agreement, but we're talking about paper products, we're not talking about like missiles. I mean, so I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So it just really worked out that way. I'm just going to leave it a little vague here and just, we'll see. And it really did. Yeah. It worked in our favor for sure.
That is amazing. And then for everyone's background, Kelsey's in Kansas. So, and again, you don't have to be, in the state where the bids are located, but it definitely is helpful because you went to that reverse procurement event, and now it's like you can sell almost anything.
Yes, it really helped open our eyes too, because so with this award, the procurement officer attached to that one, he kind of said, all right, you've won this, and now you can reach out to all these state agencies. And I'm like, whoa. He no list or anything. So it really was perfect time, because they were trying to refresh their vendor pool. And so it was just great to meet a lot of different agencies and actual procurement officers at that event. We actually had Wichita Public Schools, reach out and email us, because we gave cards, of course, to everyone. And they're like, hey, make sure, you're on our portal, and just, it was a great opportunity, great experience to go there.
And I love this. And when they say reach out, what are some of the benefits for reaching out, giving out your card, following up, registering in their portal?
So because a lot of people were there. It was a lot of people just giving their elevator speeches. And I'm sure by the end of the day, they're not going to be able to keep everybody straight. They had this, or, oh, these people might have done this. And so, yes, just really tried to hand out cards. We took a lot of brochures, but our brochures were for home care and not so much for that side of things. And so cards and your speech and it starts in January. So it kind of gives them a time to, meet and communicate before it goes in effect. And you're not, once you're awarded, you're not struggling to kind of get it started. It gives it a little time.
So your current contract starts in January?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They awarded it a few months early. And in fact, I think they were kind of worried about the shutdown that was looming. They were trying to push it through super fast. I think they were trying to prepare ahead of time of that and get it going.
Which is, and I'm so glad you brought that up too, because the politics going on in DC impacts states too. So I think that's great. And it's awesome that they've given you this amount of time to get ready. You're not rushing. You're not trying to deliver, 50 ton of toilet paper in 2 days or something. Like, you have this leeway. What also comes to mind, because you attended the event, you had everything branded under the in-home care kind of vertical that you're in. And as you mentioned, you probably shared with them, hey, we provide these products and things of that nature, especially when the one person asked you, were any of them like, what do you mean? Or how was their receptivity to you?
A couple of them weren't really receptive. The city of Wichita this guy in particular stuck out to me, and he was just like, well, we already have somebody we work with for that, and then he mentioned, so, I kept going with him about it, and he was like, well, our taxpayers aren't going to pay for our break room stuff. And I was like, you're kind of missing what it is here. I mean, you guys need toilet paper and paper towels, for your facility. And yeah, I don't know. He just wasn't really into it so much. However, everybody else was, real into, and they're like, oh, and is this is statewide? Okay, let me write your first name down here. And more times than not, it went over well, but there was a couple that were just kind of like, well, we have vendors already. Like, I understand, but I think those vendors are gone here in a couple months. So just take my card here and I'll email you here in a few weeks.
And I love it because you just, you just let it wash over you.
Yeah.
Like the T-Swift, you gotta shake it off. I love that because it's going to happen. And it may seem ironic that you won a contract with the state for these things, so clearly they buy them. But this comes up all the time. Like we had a military location that was like, oh, you want water and you want tablecloths on these tables. We're the military. We don't do that. It's like, yeah, you do.
Right.
He's like, we're not making this up. We didn't just pull this out of thin air. Like, it's like, okay, got it. And it was great. Like, you didn't try to argue with them. You weren't trying to fight them on it. You were just pleasant. And here's my information, because it's going to happen. We're going to come up against crazy things. But the bottom line is, the opportunities are there. They're going to continue to be there, and they're going to continue to go to you.
Yes. Yeah, we've got an email list going here with everybody that we met and people that have already reached out to us from that event. That was a few days ago. And so yeah, we're getting it rolling here. Yeah, and it was it's phenomenal. This was the first bid that we ever submitted, the first proposal we ever submitted. We've only been looking into this the last couple months as another way to diversify because, COVID flipped home care on its head. And so we came across you and just like, this is something we could really do. The administration stuff, the staffing for healthcare is always a need, courier, lab services, all of that we're looking into all the time. Now that's more federal level. The VA here hasn't put out too many solicitations lately. So, but yeah. Like for Missouri, Colorado, anywhere around us, easy for us to still do. Because healthcare, you do have to be hands-on. You can't really just sub a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot because then you're dealing with people and you have to make sure they're performing. And especially in the medical industry, you have so many rules and regulations that it's not like a product, or even if it's somebody who has a position as a court clerk. I mean, the requirements are just different and the management and supervision is going to vary.
Yes.
And so, because I hadn't asked yet, are you comfortable sharing the award amount for the paper products, or whatever you're comfortable with?
Yeah, so they didn't give us like an actual amount, a cap or anything. They just said that it is for the next 5 years, starting January 1st until December of 2029. So I was so excited because I know that's a long time. It has potential to be, huge and really just expand it. And it is statewide. So we're on the east side of Kansas. And so we could go all the way west, all the way south because we're in the top corner. But yeah, it's great. So all the areas around us, we already have transportation as a diversification here. And so, but for the big freight items that they may need, we teamed up with FedEx to help us because we do have a time frame that we have to get it to them in 7 to 10 days, or you could be subject to lose your contract. So it is really, it's something to think about, having the manpower or the partnership to get it where it needs to go.
I mean, definitely, because here in Kansas, you get snow.
Yes. Yeah.
You deal with the climate, you deal with changes in the seasons. So it's something to be aware of. They're not going to say, oh, we got 2 inches of snow, now you can deliver 30 days late. I mean, so it's great that you're set up and prepared for things.
Tried very hard. We thought it through quite a bit. We also, they gave us the contract awards that we replaced, the numbers, the award numbers. And so we planned on reaching out to both because our contract actually used to be split into 2. And so now we just get all of it into one. I don't know if maybe one had just the toilet paper and paper towels and the other had all the break room essentials. But we did plan on reaching out to them and kind of seeing if they'll give us some of the tea and how big, like some, who the big agencies were here, who had the bigger quantities, who did the most. Because in the pre-bid documents, it said our 4 surrounding counties. However, talking with them more, it is statewide. So granted, they're smaller, way smaller cities and counties out west. But yeah, so we do fulfill those all the way to the border as well. And it's, just seeing their past performance, what they used to do in quantities, and who were the biggest, just so we're more prepared even for if we have someone like 600 some miles away.
Yeah, that's a good point. Does this cover like state penitentiaries?
Yes. Yeah. Any state agency in Kansas. So yeah, Leavenworth. Oh my goodness. Yes, all the way. They said KC Metro was going to be a really big one, a big area for us. And so yes. DCF, which is great because we were already a vendor for them for transportation as well. Okay. And so we're already like in touch with that specific agency. And then, like I said, at the fair, we met a lot more that we weren't quite thinking, like the public schools or the universities. Even we've got about 5 major universities around us, and she specifically said, we buy a lot. We've got a lot of buying power here, and so I'm excited to see what this holds.
I'm excited for you too, because what I love about this is a space where there's no political views, there's no thought. It's like we all need paper product. And so from a business perspective, it's great because regardless of whatever is going on in the world, people are going to need paper products. And so I like that. And it's just you constantly delivering, you being you all being amazing. And then it's, having conversations, learning the tea from the incumbents to find out, are there other options? The thing is, sometimes we forget as we go around and go about our normal days of like what really is owned by a state or controlled by a state, because states also rent facilities. And just because they rent or lease a building doesn't mean they provide paper products. So it's like there's a lot of facilities that a state has, and especially like Kansas, it's a pretty large state. You got an amazing football team. You got Taylor Swift there all the time now. I mean, seriously, so they got to up the ante on top of that. You can't have T Swift coming into the state and she doesn't have her paper product. I mean, it may seem silly, but in reality, it's not. I mean, these are things that they really think about. And as more and more people are going to buildings, going to facilities, it's like, this is perfect because I'm assuming the people who previously had this, they weren't offering maybe paper products or maybe, you know, who knows what happened during that time in our lives. So, oh my gosh, I love this. I just think it's so brilliant. So then do you have another question? Because I get asked this a lot. Did you use doing business as or a fictitious name for your business when you submitted the bid, or did you use your business name?
We do not have a DBA at this time. I used the in-home care, and, you know, I did kind of think to myself, you know, we may not get it because, you know, we're in-home care normally. I have thought about creating one as more of a services, because we do provide lots of different services, not just in-home care, as part of our diversification here. Like I said, when COVID flipped it on its head, you really kind of had to get out of the norm, kind of, because we're not affiliated with Medicaid or insurances yet. So a lot of our people are private pay, and I mean, of course, in the healthcare, people are elderly, and you know they pass, unfortunately, and so it's just the cycle. And so if you want to stay on top, you need to kind of diversify. And that's what we have figured out and what we're really going for. And so, here in the near future, we're going to make a DBA name.
Oh,
because I feel like even on Sam's, I mean, you know, they might look at it, you know, the state is great. I feel like it's less competition than Sam's, you know, and you're actually in the state rather than the whole federal atmosphere. And I had the thought maybe Sam's would be like, in-home care for this or that. Maybe not. Maybe we'll go with XYZ services. So that is definitely, that's coming, to not so much limit ourselves.
No, that's a great play, because a lot of companies will do that. They'll have a something defense, something federal, something services, and then they have maybe a more specific name. Or even, you just never know, they'll spin off something. So I think it's great. And to further highlight your remark about states, one of the things that they really like is that you're here being, you know, that you're in the state. They love that. It's like, oh, we have awarded a contract to a small business who's in our state, providing opportunities in our state. It's just like a feel-good kind of thing. It doesn't mean that Kelsey's not going to win contracts in other states, or people watching that you couldn't win in Kansas. It doesn't mean that. It's just, there's something about it. And also, I've seen the same too, where it seems in many instances it can be easier because many may jump to Sam, or they may get put off by some of the requirements. Were you able to email yours, or did you have to mail your proposal?
Yes, so they actually here only accepted email.
Oh, good.
They said, don't hand deliver it to us, don't fax it, submit it via email. So I scanned it in to my email and emailed it right off. I mean, they had certain criteria and certain things they asked for that Sam's doesn't necessarily. And I think that's just a statewide thing. But certain tax clearance and a few other things like that we had to kind of go on the state website and find and ask for approval for and get that submitted in. But back to, you know, the previous incumbents, they both, because I said it split into two, or it used to be two and it came to one. They were both, I did my research on them once I found out the numbers. They're actually nationwide. So it was kind of a shock. Both of those contracts were from a nationwide company. And so I don't know if maybe being local did really help that.
I think there's something, just from people I've spoken with, just experience being in the space, it's something I've noticed. Like we're on a state contract, and I know one reason we are a sub, but I know one reason we're on it is because we are a registered vendor here in Florida. And so then it really helped them because they could show, hey, here's all these Florida-based businesses that we're partnering with. So I know that was a benefit, but it's just something about it, because then we psychologically, we know, I would say we know because it tends to happen. We're going to get treated better. They're a small business. They're not this huge nationwide that just looks at us as another number. They're local. They're here. We're supporting the state. It's like, there's just some little things about that. And there had to have been, there's some backstory. I know you're going to find it out. Like why they decided to combine them. There probably was this whole mismatch and it probably drove them nuts. And they're like, oh my gosh, just make this one contract. Can't we just get everything from one vendor instead of two? Yeah.
I think you're right. Because they specifically asked for like a page on your website that had everything, because the way they wanted to do it is screenshot what they want, make their list, and then go ahead and email you their list.
And I love that, because I was wondering, because you mentioned, I have to have my team change our website. I was wondering why. That's so perfect.
Yeah.
How easy is that? That's so easy to just add a page to your website.
Yes, with the products, pictures, and price. And it was as simple as that.
And where did you get the pictures?
The internet.
Right.
Manufacturer's website. I just screenshotted their image and posted it right on the shop page.
Right. It's like eBay. It's like a car. Like eBay. Like I recently put something on eBay and they like doo-doo-doo. I was like, whoa, this isn't like the eBay when I was first using it in like 99. I was like, whoa, this is different. So Forever 28 though. But yeah, I mean, it's great that you did that, because it further legitimizes you and gives them exactly what they wanted. Who doesn't want to be able to see what you're getting? Because nobody wants those raggedy paper towels, and then you want a nice budget paper towel.
And they wanted dispensers too. That's what I forgot to mention.
Cool.
In case it was on there that, we needed to have dispensers in case they broke it, or in case the product didn't fit or something. So we went right back to those manufacturer pages, found the different types of dispensers. So they had flexibility, whether it's commercial size rolls or regular size rolls, because every state agency is different.
Yeah.
They were built different time frames. Paper towel dispensers are different in every building. So it was just, that was an extra little bit that we went as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that, because it's so true. And then they would get the paper product, and then they would be upset because it doesn't fit. So it's great that you have the paper product and the dispenser. You have all of that. I mean, it just is going to snowball. Who knows what the other needs are? It could easily turn into, you find out they need staff. You find out they need a roof, and who knows? I mean, it's just because that's what's just going to happen naturally, is as you further engage with them, you're just going to learn, oh my gosh, wow. And then you fold in your contact with the schools and just, whatever else. Like I immediately was thinking too, like during the warmer time of the year, state parks, they need paper products, or maybe they're covered in this contract. But
some of my research for the state of Kansas, at least, when they have their janitorial bids or solicitations out there for like the rest areas, that's sort of their area to do. So that is someone I kind of need to touch base with still and talk to, because like we had one for Pratt, Kansas I was looking at not that long ago, just for their rest area. However, they wanted the building painted too, but it also included the janitorial supplies and all that equipment that falls under our roof here. So,
and you can find a painter.
It's not difficult. And landscaping, we actually already have a landscaping partner. So something like that might be in the near future for us. It's endless possibility.
It so is. And that's why I'm so happy you're here, because again, you went from the in-home, and then it's, let me bid on janitorial, let me bid on this paper product, and then the paper product worked out, and then it's like, it's like you're doing brainstorming, or I'll call it like a spider. I mean, I like spiders, but it's like, then it's all these little branches, all these little legs, all these little things. And then before you know it, it's like, oh my gosh, you're providing all of these different verticals, because it's in-home, paper, could be janitorial, facility management, lawn care, maintenance, things like that. And then it can go staffing, and then whatever else. Maybe you find there's something that they need where you're like, I didn't even know they need this. It could be technology. Next thing you know, you're selling Apple products. I mean, these are all real things, because at the state level, it's very similar to the federal government. I would say the only major difference is they're not really, you don't have too many people living at state facilities unless they're incarcerated. Like with the military, you have people stationed and things of that nature. So, but they have the need for all of these things, and has left the rest area. I would never even thought of those.
Yep. Off of every highway, everywhere. Yes, it's great. And we have Fort Riley a couple hours away as well. So they were needing, cooking and stuff. We were looking into that. Like it really is just endless. It's great.
It's so cool. And then you could also potentially sell to the government too. I met a gentleman who he said he provides a bunch of office stuff, paper, all of that, and he has a vendor and he has a website, and I was like, wow, that was kind of interesting. I never had really met anybody who did something like that. So it's like the sky's the limit. You're gonna become the go-to for that area. All the states around you, they're gonna be like, Kelsey's the go-to. This is the paper product queen over here.
That would be fantastic. Yes.
It's definitely going to happen.
Yes. Management, administrative is also on our capability statement. So yes, it's just a big snowball.
Good. I love that. So before I ask for your contact information, if you want to share it, what advice do you have to those out there who are thinking, oh my gosh, this seems amazing, but I'm overwhelmed. I don't really know what to do. Is this really possible? What advice do you have to that person?
It is very possible, and go for it, because I was there a few months ago. I watched all the videos. I tried to absorb all the knowledge I could. Kizzy's Facebook group is an amazing place for all those little questions you may have, or, little assistance here and there. Go for it, because you never know what can happen. The amount of different solicitations and sole sources, you may find something that you're already doing at your day job, or you've looked into in the past doing for somebody else, or maybe little did you know you were a sub for one of those already and you have the past experience doing it. Go for it. You are the only one holding yourself back. Just take that step. I promise you're not going to regret it.
No, you're definitely not. I mean, look at what's happening. I mean, and we're definitely going to have you back, because 6 months from now, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want so many more. I mean, because this was her first one.
Yes.
I mean, that's
First one,
y'all. First one.
I started looking into this a couple months ago. And I feel like I maybe could have won one a month ago if I would have just took that step into doing it. You get so caught up in wanting to know all the information and being so perfect, and it's not. The procurement officer that awarded us this called me and specifically said, you didn't quite do the technical proposal like everyone else. And I meant to still go back and pick his brain about what I did different or what I didn't do. But that didn't matter. It did not matter. When they know what they want and they have faith in you, you have faith in yourself, it will happen.
And adding to that, the fact that you didn't do it like everybody else, they were probably like, okay, because they had what everybody else was doing. It had 2 nationwide vendors, and clearly that didn't work out, because if it would have worked out, it would have set things up for the 2 of them to continue, or would have strongly encouraged them to come together, because that happens a lot behind the scenes in business in general. So definitely pick his brain, because the states have debriefs. Now I'll have another question. Because I know they did this with the city of Clearwater in Florida, so I'm not sure if they do this where you are. Do they legally have to share the proposals?
I'm not sure. He said to expect another phone call with him. Hasn't happened yet. He said he had family things going on and he was out of the office. I know there is something on our state website called Tab Sheet, and you can request certain things like this. But when he gave me, or on the ward contract, it says it replaces a ward, this and this. And so when I dug a little deeper in their archives, that's how I found out, okay, these two nationwide companies. And then I found their cost sheet. So I was like, ooh. And there was a lot of other amendments that were still under that contract too, that we're still kind of going through to see what we could kind of see and get into. However, yes, I do want to set up like a debrief with him and kind of just get all the info.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And then just to clarify, you learned that information after you submitted the proposal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it was so rushed in the beginning. I know, normally you want to email them like, hey, what's the incumbent and this and that. But it was so short of a time period and I just went for it. And that's why I say just go for it. It was on the ward contract, the numbers.
Love that. I love that. I love it because for those of you watching, in case you're ever like, what do you charge? And look, sometimes it's not a do. It's so easy, it pops up. But there are ways, because now we all know that in the great state of Kansas, you can see previous contract winners' pricing. And I suspect more than likely you may be able to get your competitors' proposals. I just know in Florida, it was unprompted. It was like, here's this code, here's this zip file. I was like, what? And to this day, I still use them because they're great examples. There were over, I think, 14 of us who bid, and they ended up canceling it. But it's still really helpful because I have all their information. I have all of their pricing. I have every single thing, and vice versa. They have all of ours. But it was just that knowing, because we always want to know, like, well, what does a proposal look like? What does somebody else's proposal look like? And no matter if I share a proposal, you share a proposal, we're still going to wonder, like, okay, well, what about other people? So the more that you can receive copies, and that often is a great benefit when bidding at the state level, is getting those. Ooh, I can't wait what you learn.
I know, we even all so excited.
This is amazing. So Kelsey, how can people reach out to you if they have questions or they're like, hey, I want to sell paper products? What can they do? I love this.
Yes. So you can add me on LinkedIn, Kelsey Lawrence. You can email me at kayspristinecare@gmail.com. And there's also, you can text the business phone. We're up for that all the time. Texting is easier than calling. It gets back a little quicker, if stuff is, the days can get hectic. And that number is 785-925-2771.
Look at that, y'all. She not only gave you her LinkedIn or email, she gave you a number to text. This is what's beautiful, is taking full advantage of the community and her generosity. Because it's all about, oh my gosh, it's all about all this. I could go on forever, and it's not the place to do that. And I just love you all. I love this. This makes me so happy because you took action and that you're so willing to give back. And I know people are going to be able to feel it when you watch this video. Like, you're so kind. You're so full of light and giving. And man, the state of Kansas better get ready, because you're going to, look, they're going to need soybeans. You're going to get them soybeans. Like, they don't really even understand. Like, literally, you're going to be able to get them everything.
Yes, we've looked into getting them a rental property in a couple hours away. It is endless. It really is. And any medical professionals, go for it. You don't necessarily think this might be your industry, but it is. It is. Everywhere has a VA. Everywhere has hospitals, Medicaid, everywhere.
And then I just saw this. I mean, I hope it's true, because I want to have a goal of being Highlander over here. But I read something talking about people living to be 120. Like, people being born today can potentially live to be 120. Who's going to provide all of the medical needs? I mean, as people live longer, there's an increased need. healthcare providers, medical supplies. There's this whole need for this. And then what Kelsey is already becoming, and in my opinion, this is the goal. I mean, at least is my goal for you all, for everybody here, and that is to become the Amazon. You know, we practically go to Amazon for everything. There's very few things that we don't really go to Amazon for, but it's become that. Because why can't she provide housing? Why not? Why? She can. You can too, watching this, y'all. I mean, it's like, that's what's so beautiful about this. And a lot of companies in the government space, they do this too. They're just not going to tell you. It's sexier for them to be known as the tech company, not that they're making their money on staffing. It's sexier for them to be known as they provide tanks than for you to know they make their money on staffing, or that they make their money on firefighters. You know, I didn't know those were contracted out until something came up. So anyways, this is beautiful. I'm so excited. And if you would be so kind, share with everyone your text number one more time, the best number to text you.
785-925-2771.
Yes, I'm so honored. I'm so excited, Kelsey. This is amazing. And I hope y'all are as inspired as I am. I'm so happy. My cheeks hurt from smiling. It just gives so much life, encouragement, that truly everything is possible. It is. It truly is. Being in state Kansas, bidding on things, one bid, one win, and look at what's happening. She went to one event. How far was that event from you, from where you live?
It was in the same city, maybe 10 miles max.
Okay, it was 10 miles max. I mean, I'm sure that for those of you watching, there's probably something near you, or if not, go something virtual. But you take action, you get results. Take action, get results, and that's what she did. So again, thank you so much, Kelsey. Everything is possible. Until next time, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, check out profitablecontracts.co. You all are amazing.